Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Ben Schwartz. Thanks for joining us. A Nelsonville man is facing charges for sexual assault involving 6 juvenile victims. 18-year-old Brandon Humphrey faces 5 counts of rape and 3 counts of sexual imposition from a grand jury indictment. Prosecutor Keller J. Blackburn says the charges stem from a bind-over in juvenile court. Humphrey failed to enter a plea twice. His next scheduled court appearance is April 17th. He is currently being held in the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail. A former Gloucester priest is claiming he was coerced into pleading guilty to sexual battery. Henry Foxhoven filed notice this week asking to appeal his conviction. He missed a 30-day deadline for filing an appeal, but has asked the court to allow him to file anyway. He claims his trial attorney missed the deadline. He also argues the 12-year sentence he received is excessive. A Jackson man is pleading guilty to a $50 million Ponzi scheme. Jason Atkins was arraigned in federal court today in Columbus. According to documents, Atkins operated various Ohio and Delaware-based commercial tire companies. Atkins would tell investors he was buying specifically sourced off-the-road tires at a steep discount, then sell them at a much higher rate, yielding a large profit on investment. He failed to invest the funds as promised, and he used the investors' funds for his own benefit.
And welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Adriana Davies, and today in Athens we did see a high of right around 69 degrees, which we hit about 25 minutes ago. And these warmer conditions will persist throughout the evening this evening as well. So we're looking at a low temperature tonight of right around 54 degrees. That is above average for our lows for this time of the year, so enjoy that while it lasts. We do have a 60% chance of storms mainly before 7 p.m., but we'll see those rain chances linger throughout the evening hours into about 10 p.m. is what we're forecasting. Winds from the southwest at 0.5 to 5 miles an hour, and we will see those start to increase as those rain chances move throughout the area as well. Taking a look at our regional map, 55 up in Columbus for tonight low, 57 over in New Martinsville, 56 down in Ripley, and 53 as the regional low down in Ironton. And chances for rain for most of the areas, like I said, those chances will start to decrease as we move throughout the evening this evening. Taking a look at our hour by 8 p.m., 67 degrees, really warm still for this time of the year. By midnight, we're looking at 60 degrees, and by 4 a.m., 55. And we'll see those clouds start to clear as well after those rain chances move throughout the area, and that's due to a cold front that's just going to pass through very, very weak and not bring us too much weather with that. So Ben, I know if you're headed out this evening, make sure you take an umbrella with you as well as everyone else watching.
I will be sure to do that. Thank you so much, Adriana. A new community park is officially opened in Athens. Mayor Steve Patterson calls it the Armory Park for now. It's located in between the Armory and Family Dollar on East Carpenter Street in Uptown Athens. It was designed and created by community volunteers and the city's Department of Lands and Buildings. The majority of the mural was created last weekend during Placemaking Week. It was once a gravel parking lot, but now has flower gardens, a stage for live music, and interactive murals for people to paint on. The Federal Hocking Secondary School campus will start receiving the majority of its energy from newly installed solar panels. A post on the school district's Facebook page says the installation began last Monday. Superintendent George Wood says the project is a 700 kilowatt solar power installation. It will generate 76% of the power for its middle and high school campus. The Athens City School Board will lease a temporary building in order to add classroom space to West Elementary School. The modular-style building will be used when East Elementary School is closed for construction this fall. Pre-kindergarten through 5th grade students from both East and West Elementaries will be at West Elementary during construction. Superintendent Tom Gibbs says the cost of leasing and installing the modular building at West Elementary is more than $400,000. A new state marriage law prohibits children under the age of 17 from marrying in Ohio. This law took effect today. It raises the minimum marriage age to 18 for both parties. However, it allows 17-year-olds to marry if they meet certain requirements. They must have juvenile court consent and go through a 14-day waiting period. The law also says the age difference between the parties cannot be more than 4 years. Before, the state law allowed females to marry at 16 and males to marry at 18, but it also allowed Ohioans younger than those ages to marry if they had judicial and parental consent. The deadline to register to vote or update an existing registration ahead of the May 7th primary is tonight. The deadline is 9 p.m. Voters may go to myohiovote.com to register online or update an existing registration. Voter registration forms can also be printed from myohiovote.com or obtained from a local library or Board of Elections office. All Board of Elections will be open until the deadline. Over the weekend, a street in Athens was filled with people celebrating different nationalities. We'll have a look at the International Street Fair. That story and more when Newswatch returns.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell its story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Ohio and Hungary are partnering up to strengthen economic, technological, and commercial cooperation. Ohio Development Services Director and Hungary's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade signed the document. It pledges broader economic cooperation between the parties. The partnership goes beyond trade, which totaled $186 million last year. The leaders say 25 years of cooperation between the Ohio National Guard and the Hungarian Defense Forces laid the groundwork for the deal. The flags are gone now, but this weekend was a time to celebrate the world in Athens. The city celebrated its international diversity with the 50th anniversary of the International Street Fair on Saturday. Noah Wolf reports.
The sights, smells, and sounds of the world swirled down Union Street Saturday on the International Street Fair's 50th anniversary. But things weren't always so official.
The street fair actually used to just be students taking over Court Street, kind of like Halloween used to be, just people taking over Court Street, and then over time it became more solidified.
Now the city shuts down Union Street for the event.
Athens wants this to happen every year. This is not just an Ohio or international student initiative anymore, this is part of Appalachia.
The parade of flags kicked things off.
To be there and see the different levels of energy coming from students and the pride they have in their country and their flags was something that was just very, very special.
The Marching 110 made an appearance, and Mayor Steve Patterson spoke.
You guys are beautiful, and you make this community beautiful, know that.
And that's what this event was all about, community.
Whether it's meeting someone new, learning about a new country, learning about new food that they've never tried, Possibly even talking with someone that maybe they weren't comfortable talking to before. If we can get that would be great.
From Antigua to Zimbabwe, there are over 100 countries with international students at OU, and many of them are represented here at the fair.
As were those countries' foods.
I think that chicken with some traditional sauce from Indonesia.
Lumpia is a vegetarian. We put sweet potato and beans, carrots and cabbage, thing like that. We add cayenne pepper, paprika, curry powder, salt, and other spices from Ghana.
While the event exposed many people to other cultures,
we are here like from different countries, get to know other cultures. And you as well represent your cultures to others.
It also connected people with their own culture.
It means makes me feel at home, makes me feel I'm still in Ghana.
The next street fair in Athens will be the 14th annual Ohio Brew Week, set to take place July 12th through the 20th. Two Trump administration officials may be leaving office. That story is still ahead.
And next on Newswatch, we're talking about a warm week ahead with some rain chances in that forecast, but a mild weekend in the forecast as well. We'll talk about that up next on Newswatch. Now here's a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Good evening and welcome back from the break. I'm forecaster Adriana Davies, and today in Athens we did see a high of, actually this changed after I made the graphic, so 69 degrees was the high that we did see today. Right around normal for this time of the year. We're looking at 65 for that average temperature for right now, and almost kind of creeping in on that record high of 92 degrees. But for our low temperatures today, we did see relatively above average, almost 11 degrees above average. 54 was our low in Athens, and those above average lows will persist throughout the evening this evening as well. Taking a look at our low for tonight in Athens, 54 degrees, a chance of storms mainly before 7 p.m. and rain chances will linger through the evening as well. I see those dwindling off after about 10 p.m. So if you're out and about tonight, make sure you grab that umbrella as you step out the door. Taking a look at our winds from the southwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour for this evening. Our regional lows, 53 down in Ironton, 55 up in Newark and over in Columbus, as well as New Lexington. Chances for rain, like I said, will linger throughout the evening into about 10 p.m. this evening, and then we will not have to worry about those. The rain chances are due to a very weak cold front that's going to move through our area. You can see that on the map right here. Our high pressures will fill in after that. See those rain chances kind of lingering for our area into the evening tonight, and then for tomorrow night it will be dry and we won't have to worry about those rain chances anymore. High pressure will fill and we will see some ridging as well. Taking a look at our Wednesday forecast, are still same story. It's going to be dry for us too, so we do not have to worry about rain chances just yet. For tomorrow morning, that is the wrong weather graphic there. Mostly clear skies to start today. We do not need to worry about any snow or wind for that case. A mild start to the day at 54 degrees with winds from the west at 7 miles an hour. So you don't need to wear a coat if you don't need to, maybe a light jacket, but we will see a very warm day tomorrow. We're forecasting 70 as our high temperature. By 8 a.m., 54 degrees, like I said, a partly cloudy start to the day, but the clouds will start to clear throughout the day, giving way to a very beautiful day ahead. 70 degrees as our high by 4 p.m., mostly clear skies as well. So it will be a very nice, pleasant day to be outside. Sunglasses will be necessary, high of 70 degrees with winds from the northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And tomorrow, Ohio men's baseball do take on Ohio State at 6 p.m. So the forecast for that, the same graphic is wrong yet again. Perfect weather for baseball though, 68 degrees, and we will see clear skies for that game too. So you definitely don't need a coat for the evening tomorrow with winds from the northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast though, beautiful temperatures are in store. We're looking to approach 80 on Thursday, but we will have some rain chances that will decrease those high temperatures throughout the evening, or the weekend, excuse me. Friday, 60% chance for rain and storms. By Saturday, those temperatures will start to dwindle off, and then another chance for rain on Sunday. I know some people may be running the half marathon on Sunday in Athens, so keep that in mind as you head out the door and plan accordingly. And then we will look to get back into those normal temperatures into next week, Ben.
Officials say actress Felicity Huffman will plead guilty to charges in the college admissions scandal case. Huffman is apologizing for taking part in the scheme. She says her daughter didn't know about her actions. Huffman was accused of paying $15,000 to rig her daughter's exam score. The charges against her are committing mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. Outgoing Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen resigned last night. This comes as President Trump calls for tougher action at the U.S. southern border with Mexico. Despite reports she was on thin ice with the president, Nielsen was at the border with him late last week. She described her department as being in disaster response and called on Congress to act. Nielsen came to the administration as John Kelly's chief of staff when he served as Homeland Security Secretary. And there may be another high-profile departure in the Trump administration. President Trump is reportedly firing U.S. Secret Service Director Randolph Alice. Several administration officials say Alice has been asked to leave. The Secret Service Director reports directly to the Secretary of Homeland Security. One official says more firings are expected. President Trump is ramping up the rhetoric with Iran. In an unprecedented move, the president designated a powerful arm of the Iranian military as a foreign terrorist organization. Omar Jimenez explains how the change may impact American troops.
The administration is designating Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a foreign terrorist organization.
With this designation, the Trump administration is simply recognizing a basic reality.
It's the first time the United States has ever given that title to part of another government.
We're doing it because the Iranian regime's use of terrorism as a tool of statecraft makes it fundamentally different from any other government.
Iran is reciprocating, officially designating U.S. military operating in the region as terrorist groups.
Most previous administrations, including military and intelligence officials,
concluded that the gain was not worth what we would risk.
These tensions are the latest tensions between the two countries, but not the only. It comes almost a year after the U.S. pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, reimposing sanctions on the country, just weeks after the U.S. recognized Israeli control of the Golan Heights, and on the eve of Israel's presidential election. Iran's foreign minister tweeting, "Another misguided election eve gift to Netanyahu, another dangerous U.S. misadventure in the region."
It's basically adding a label. It's not actually adding new sanctions. So it doesn't get you much, but what it does get you potentially is provoking a retaliation from the Iranians.
The United States' terror designation for Iran's Revolutionary Guard officially begins April 15th. In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
The CDC is sounding the alarm on a life-threatening super fungus that they've called a global emerging threat, and it's on the rise across the U.S. James Danan has the latest.
A harmful and deadly yeast fungus called Candida auris is lurking in hospitals and nursing homes, and health officials are now warning about how fast it's spreading in healthcare facilities. There's been nearly 600 cases in 12 states across the U.S., with more than 300 of them in New York and more than 100 in New Jersey. Candida auris can enter the bloodstream and spread rapidly, wreaking havoc throughout the body, causing serious invasive infections. The big problem? Infections are extremely hard to treat because it's resistant to most antifungal drugs, and symptoms are hard to detect because it's often infecting people who are already sick. It's also difficult to identify and can only be diagnosed by specialized laboratories using specific testing methods, which is making it difficult to control the spread. Scientists are still working to learn more about the yeast. They recommend washing your hands with soap and water or using hand sanitizers in healthcare facilities, and remind your healthcare providers to do the same during your visits. I'm James Dinan reporting.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nick Mullins, and it's time to talk some sports. It was a weekend full of OU sports, from sweeps to dominant performances. And also in sports, at a couple hours north, the Cleveland Cavs sent off a fan favorite yesterday against the Spurs. Next on Newswatch. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up on your tonight on your public television station.
A box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS. We're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back, I'm Nick Mullins. Over the weekend, the Ohio baseball team were swept by Northern Illinois in a 3-game series. Prior to the first game on Friday, the Bobcats were on a 3-game winning streak. Both teams had 8 wins coming into the series. In Game 1 on Friday, Northern Illinois squeaked by Ohio in a 7-6 win. On Saturday, the Bobcats fell 5-2, and on Sunday, they fell 5-1 in the series finale. Over those 3 games, Ohio only scored 9 runs. In the 3 games they were prior, they scored 36 runs. They will look to get the bats going again when at home, when they will return to Bob Wrenn Stadium tomorrow to face Ohio State at 6 p.m. The baseball team wasn't the only team that racked up 3 L's in the loss column this weekend. The Ohio softball team was swept by the Central Michigan. Ohio lost 7-3 in a Game 1 on Friday and Game 2 on Saturday. It was fairly similar as the Bobcats lost 6-3, and in third game of the second doubleheader on Saturday, they fell 7-4. The Bobcats were out-hit over the weekend 21-18. Ohio is looking to bounce back when they return to Athens on Wednesday to wrap up a 3-game series with Kent State. First pitch is set for 2 p.m. The two split a doubleheader last week. The Ohio track and field team hosted the annual Cherry Blossom Invitational on Sunday at Goldsberry Track in Pewitt Field. Ohio claimed the top 3 spots in discus throw, with freshman Autumn Mohan taking first with a 45.83 meter throw. Mohan also took first in the shot put with a mark of 13.2 meters. In a 1,500 meter run, the redshirt freshman Jessica Hartman clocked a time of 5 minutes to win it and set a personal best. The Bobcats took the top 5 spots in the 100 meter dash. Abigail Summers won with a time of 12 seconds. Ohio also claimed each of the top 5 spots in the 800-meter run. Redshirt junior Melissa Kozel finished first with a time of 2 minutes and 17 seconds. It was optimal weather for running as there was no wind and was warm. As Coach Clay said, Ohio will be back in action April 12th to 13th in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Charlotte Invitational. Now getting back to the diamond, we moved to Cleveland, and in Progressive Field, the Indians were capping off a 4-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays. And in this one, the Indians brought out the brooms as they swept the Toronto Blue Jays 3-1. Bottom of first, Bowers on second, 2 outs. Santana at the plate. He pulls that one down the third baseline. Bowers scores on the Santana double. Then Tyler Naquin puts one to left. That scores Santana. Brad Hand would close out the game in the 9th with a strikeout. I'm Nick Mullins, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Nick. A story about a pediatric nurse becoming a mother is trending on social media. This is Liz Smith and her now 2-year-old daughter, Giselle. The pair first crossed paths in 2016. Smith first met Giselle at the Massachusetts hospital where she worked. Giselle was born premature to a mother who had used drugs, and the baby struggled with health issues. The child also had no visitors at the hospital for several months. Giselle went to live with Smith in 2017, and after Massachusetts terminated the parental rights of Giselle's biological mom and dad, Smith formally adopted the girl last October. Smith says Giselle's health is stable and continues to improve.
And now for a final look at weather. Tonight in Athens, we're looking at a low of 54 degrees, and those rain chances will start to taper off as we move throughout the evening, but we will see some lingering showers until about 10 p.m. this evening, and then you don't need to worry about the umbrellas anymore. So as you step out the door this evening, make sure you do grab that umbrella with you. Winds from the southwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour. So a very mild evening ahead. As for tomorrow in Athens, our high temperature at 70 degrees. Sunny skies will persist throughout the day, so make sure you grab those sunglasses as you step out the door tomorrow. Make sure you don't forget them too, because we will see the sunshine throughout the day. The clouds will begin to clear into the morning hours with winds from the northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. So beautiful day in store for Athens tomorrow. I know baseball does play in Athens against Ohio State, so if you're headed out tomorrow, make sure you do take those sunglasses like I keep saying. Our week ahead, though, we're looking to approach almost 80 degrees on Thursday with some rain chances into our Friday. And after those rain chances do move out of the area, we will see some temperatures dip into the mid-50s, but we'll be back into those normal temperatures by the start of next week, Ben.
Thank you, Adriana. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Ben Schwartz. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.